Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
Picture this for a moment. The lights are on at Rogers Center long after midnight, the seats are empty, and the echo of last season's near glory still hangs in the air like unfinished business. If baseball teams could think, the Toronto Blue Jays would be pacing the floor right now, tapping their fingers, replaying what might have been, and quietly plotting what comes next. And that, my friends, is exactly where today's story begins on the Blue Jays Report. So before we go any further, make sure you like the video, share it with a fellow fan, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a beat. Big news has dropped, and it's the kind that doesn't shout but whispers with intent. The Blue Jays find themselves at a crossroads after missing out on two major offensive prizes this offseason. Kyle Tucker slipped through their fingers, and Bichette's move to the New York Mets felt like watching a familiar chapter close a little too quickly. A week ago, the path to an explosive offensive upgrade felt wide and inviting. Today, it looks narrower, more selective, almost demanding patience rather than panic. Yet baseball has always loved the dramatic twist, and the trade market still hums quietly in the background, like a storm cloud that might yet roll in. Yes, names like Ketel Marte are off the board, and Cody Bellinger appears content back in Yankee pinstripes, but absence doesn't always equal defeat. Sometimes it simply forces clarity. Toronto didn't stumble into the ALDS and ALCS by accident, and that core still breathes, still believes, still expects more. Kazuma Okamoto's arrival feels like a carefully placed chess move rather than a desperate roll of the dice. Add to that the hope of Anthony Santander rediscovering his best form, and suddenly the narrative shifts from loss to possibility. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. remains the beating heart of this lineup, a force capable of turning any quiet night into a thunderstorm of offense, with every reason to surpass what he showed in 2025. Dalton Varsho, too, is expected to stay healthier for longer in 2026, offering much-needed stability where it matters most. Of course, there are whispers of regression. George Springer has miles on the clock. Alejandro Kirk may not always replicate peak production, but even if the season started tomorrow, this offense wouldn't collapse into crisis. Some players lean more towards defense, yes, but there isn't a single name on this roster that looks out of place on a championship contender, and that's a crucial detail many overlook. Ross Atkins hinted at this philosophy himself after the Okamoto signing, stressing balance over bravado. This isn't a rigid lineup carved in stone, it's a living, breathing organism. 13 hitters who can shift, adapt, and cover multiple roles, rather than 9 starters locked into permanent positions. That flexibility is Toronto's quiet superpower, and it leaves the door open for one more meaningful addition without pushing anyone aside unfairly. Imagine stretches where a new hitter slides seamlessly into the picture, while Guerrero Jr. remains the daily focal point. Springer, Kirk, Varsho, Okamoto, and Santander still get their share of the spotlight, while players like Addison Barger, Ernie Clement, Andres Jimenez, and a potential newcomer rotate intelligently to keep the lineup sharp. Even depth pieces such as Davis Schneider, Miles Straw, and Tyler Heineman continue to appear regularly, preserving balance on both sides of the ball. This adaptability allows Toronto to play matchups, counter left-handed pitching, and adjust on the fly, all without weakening their defensive spine. Okamoto's versatility and Clement's mobility around the diamond give the coaching staff options that many teams would envy. It's not about surviving without Betts or Tucker, it's about evolving beyond the need for one single savior. Last season told us something important. 8 starters crossed the 130-game mark, and 24 position players were used across the campaign. Space isn't the issue here. Opportunity is, and with a roster this flexible, adding one more offensive weapon is not only possible, it's practical. So as we look ahead to 2026, the message is clear. The Blue Jays don't need to panic, but they do have room to be bold in the right moment. Depth, versatility, and a superstar cornerstone in Vladimir Guerrero Jr. give this team a foundation strong enough to support another big swing. And if that swing connects, the payoff could be enormous. What's your take on where the Blue Jays stand right now? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Blue Jays Report because the story of this team is far from finished.